Hey, what's up everyone? Blitzball Champ is back with a brand new video here on the U to the Tube. All right, gonna talk some AEW Revolution as I just finished watching this pay-per-view, and I have to say, AEW does it once again. Another good solid pay-per-view, and I just want to give my thoughts on it, go over it, give my input on it. But yeah, let's get started. Um, so started out with the buy-in, which originally was supposed to be Riho and Thunder Rosa teaming up to face Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Rebel. But Britt Baker comes out and announced that due to an attack from Nyla Rose onto Rebel, that she was not cleared to participate in this tag team match. And of course, Rebel came out with a crutch and all. But Britt Baker was able to find a replacement tag team partner for this match. And it turned out to be a big one. None other than Maki Ito. And I can imagine that a lot of folks were really happy to see Maki Ito once again. Of course, we saw Maki Ito in the AEW Women's Eliminator Tournament, but unfortunately, she got eliminated in the first round against Ryo Mizunami. But it was so good to see her again. And I know that recently she was also in a three-way tag team, or not a three-way, a six-woman tag team match as well, post-tournament. But it's just really good to see Maki Ito back once again on AEW Revolution, the buy-in, and ended up being Britt Baker's tag team partner. So that ended up going really well. Of course, she did her entrance and performance and everything like that. So I can imagine a lot of fans were really happy to see Maki Ito. I'm sure a lot of folks wanted her to either win the tournament or at least win one of the matches of the tournament. And some even want to see her get signed. Well, I mean, that's 3 times now that she's made an appearance in AEW. So we'll have to see what happens. But it was good to see more Maki Ito. And sure enough, this tag team, which was a very good tag team match, I have to say, seeing all 4 of these ladies in action did really well. Ultimately, it was an assist with a crutch shot from Rebel that helped Britt Baker and Maki Ito get the victory over Riho and Thunder Rosa. So that was really cool. Um, I honestly thought that this was a good, solid match for the buy-in. It was about a 14 or 15 minute long match, which, for that being the buy-in, great match. Really great match. So, wasn't the original plan, but Maki Ito, great replacement. So, kudos on the buy-in match. And then the main card started off with the AEW World Tag Team Championship as the Young Bucks defended against Chris Jericho and MJF, who were accompanied by Wardlow. And this was a very solid opening match. And I marked out like crazy when the Young Bucks did a tribute to the Motor City Machine Guns and went for the Made in Detroit finisher that sometimes Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin use. So I marked out like crazy when the Young Bucks did that. But ultimately, it took a Meltzer driver to secure the victory. And ultimately, I just really enjoyed this match. I you know, I was kind of on edge as to something tells me that Jericho and MJF might pull it off, but thankfully they didn't. And because, I mean, realistically, it doesn't feel like it's been that long since the Young Bucks won the titles. So I was really happy to see them be able to retain. I really wanted to see them go for more bang for your buck, only because hadn't really seen that in a while. Um, and of course, we also saw the Young Bucks use the BTE trigger as well. But but ultimately, it was good to see them hit the Meltzer driver. But overall, great match. It was really back and forth, and Wardlow got in a lot of interference, so which is expected. But yeah, I was just really thankful that the Young Bucks were able to retain. I know their family was in attendance, or at least I think Matt Jackson's wife was attending, so thought that was pretty cool. And I really liked the gear that they wore tonight for this match. So kudos to the Young Bucks, one of my top three favorite tag teams of all time. So was really happy to see them pick up this victory, and there was a good amount of build up to this match and delivered a good solid tag team match. So really awesome match to start off the main card of AEW Revolution. Um, Next up, we had the Casino Tag Team Battle Royal, where the winning team got a future AEW World Tag Team title shot. Um, there were a lot of tag teams, from the Seidel brothers to the Butcher and the Blade to Varsity Blondes. We saw Natural Nightmares, who QT Marshall, I guess, it's looking like he turned heel on Dustin Rhodes. So it looks like that's over. If he ended up eliminating himself, so looks like Natural Nightmares might be done. So we got that. We saw Bear Country. See, who else do we see? We saw a number of tag teams. Death Triangle was in there. We saw Jurassic Express in there. We saw Pretty Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi in there. So I mean, you got a good host of tag teams. We saw Private Party. Private Party was in there, but I thought Top Flight was supposed to be a part of this, but they didn't have Top Flight. But I was kind of bummed because I like Top Flight. But had a good number of tag teams, and when it was all said and done, Death Triangle, Ray Phoenix, was the surviving member of his team to secure the future tag title shot. It actually came down to a 2-on-1. It was Ray Phoenix and Pac and Jungle Boy. So I tell you, I love me some Jungle Boy. That dude is super, super talented. And, I know when it comes to Jurassic Express, there's a lot of talk of Luchasaurus, but Jungle Boy, that dude, wow. Like, I really hope he continues to get pushed and look great for Jurassic Express, because Jungle Boy is very skilled and talented in that ring. But ultimately, Death Triangle wins the match and gets the future tag title shot. And I can tell you, the Young Bucks versus Death Triangle, that's going to be a killer match. I can't wait to see that. Pac and Ray Phoenix have been working really well together. Both very talented, and going up against a team like the Young Bucks, this could be a main event caliber title match. So I definitely look forward to that. The Young Bucks versus Death Triangle should be excellent. Should be really excellent. But believe that was pretty much one of the top three longest matches of this card, as you know, expected. But really delivered, really delivered well. Next up, we had the AEW Women's Championship match, as the champ Hikaru Shida defended against the winner of the AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator Tournament, which was Ryo Mizunami. Now, I really like the video package that they did for this match, as in these two ladies have faced each other, you know, a couple of times, and each time has ended in a draw. That's crazy. Like, which I've never seen any other past matches, but each time they faced each other, it's ended in a draw. So, I mean, now that they've shared that bit of information, which I didn't even know that in the first place, I can kind of see why they had this match booked with Ryo Mizunami winning the tournament and booking this match on AEW Revolution. It makes sense now. Ultimately, it makes sense now. And these two ladies, whew, they went at it. They were hitting everything with each other. Even came down to Hikaru Shida doing a dirty eye poke and a cradle roll up. Even taking a heel move and implementing that. You know, very very unlike Sheida. I mean, it's not the first time she's done that. It's just very rare that she's done something like that. But I think the last time she did a move like that was against Britt Baker. But yeah, did a little eye poke there. But I mean, it was just back and forth, back and forth. I mean, Ryo Mizunami kicked out of Tamashi, kicked out of the Falcon Arrow. Sheida kicked out of the guillotine leg drop, and just was both ladies were kicking out of everything. And then eventually it came down to Sheida doing like a spinning knee strike. It kind of reminded me of the creeping death move that what's his face, Davey Richards used to do back in Impact Wrestling. One of the finishers he used to do back in Impact Wrestling. But yeah, she did like a spinning knee strike to finally get the victory, and Sheida retains, still your AEW Women's World Champion. And right now, or I think even before today, so apparently Sheida is now recognized as the longest reigning AEW champion of like any champion in AEW. She's had the belt now for 288 days, and pretty much if she makes it all the way to Double or Nothing, which is May 30th, that means she'll have held that title for a year. Yeah, because remember, she defeated Nyla Rose at Double or Nothing to win that title. So that would be the 1 year mark of Sheida being champion. So I don't know. They probably may let her hit that mark, and then maybe she'll finally lose it. But we'll see. We'll see. But it really won't surprise me if they have Sheida make it all the way to Double or Nothing in May and still be champion at that time. But, you know, we got a couple of months till then. So that's a good ways away. But and then of course after the match, Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, and Maki Ito came down to attack both Sheida and Ryo Mizunami. And then eventually Thunder Rosa came down to even the odds, and this pretty much sets up a upcoming 6-woman tag with Thunder Rosa, Ryo Mizunami, and Hikaru Shida taking on Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, and Maki Ito. So if we know that that's coming up, that's gotta make me wonder, like, I don't know how much more we're going to see, Ryo Mizunami or even Maki Ito, but maybe there's potential Maki Ito or even Ryo Mizunami may sign with AEW. I don't know what Ryo Mizunami's status is, nor do I know Maki Ito's status, but hey, you know, maybe they'll eventually get signed. We'll see. But this is a nice setup for what I think would be a good 6-woman tag team match. So looking forward to it. But these two ladies put on a great championship match, Ryo Mizunami and Hikaru Shida, and that finally settles the score between the two ladies, who's had nothing but draws in their previous handful of matches. So kudos on AEW really settling that feud. Next up, I really thought was the weakest match of the card, which this match didn't really last that long. It was a tag team match, Miro and Kip Sabian going up against best friends of Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor, which, Miro and Kip Sabian got the jump on Taylor and Cassidy backstage when they were trying to do an interview. So they got the preemptive strike, brought them out to the ring, had a short match. Orange Cassidy got in some orange punches, and Chuck Taylor was bleeding from the headshot through the door glass in the backstage segment. But honestly, it wasn't a long match. It was like maybe 6 or 7 minutes, maybe 8. And ultimately, Miro cleaned house, locked in the game over on Chuck Taylor, had no choice but to tap. So, honestly, it was kind of a weak match. It was a weak match. So, I mean, I really don't have a whole lot to say about that match. It was the weakest of the card. It was the weakest of the card. But yeah. Then we had the money match. The big money match. Big Money Matt Hardy versus Hangman Adam Page, where the winner would get the losers 2021 first quarter earnings. This was a pretty decent match. These two went at it back and forth, back and forth. We saw, of course, we saw interference from Private Party, and we saw Dark Order come out and even the odds. I just thought it was crazy that Matt Hardy was really going after the hand and arm of Adam Page, even trying to break the digits and bite the digits to disrupt any chance of him using the buckshot lariat. But of course, what happens in the end? Matt Hardy eats a buckshot lariat and is down for the 1, 2, 3. Of course, with some assistance from Dark Order. Matt Hardy knocked back Hangman Adam Page. Dark Order catches him, puts him back on the ring apron. Buckshot lariat, bam, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, got something in my eye. So yeah, Hangman Adam Page. It's the big money match winner, and of course, Dark Order celebrates with him, and it even got to the point where Hangman Adam Page even voluntarily embraced Dark Order, and Colt Cabana hooked him up with a couple of brews as well. So, I mean, does this maybe signal Adam Page eventually joining Dark Order? Or it just could be one of those things where they just, no matter what happens, that they have his back. But we'll see what happens. But I really hope now that this is over with, I really hope we get to start seeing at Hangman Adam Page in the singles title picture. I don't care whether it's TNT title or AEW World title. We need to start getting Hangman Adam Page into the singles title picture. You know, he's been wrestling a bunch, he's been picking up wins. We need to start seeing him in the singles title picture. Like, I think it's been long enough. We need to start getting him in there. So I really hope they start doing that soon for Hangman Adam Page, because I feel like it's about to be long overdue. Next up, we had the Face of the Revolution ladder match, which the winner that can climb the ladder and grab the brass ring will get a future AEW TNT championship match. The competitors we had were, you had Cody Rhodes, you had Scorpio Sky, we had Penta El Cielo Mero, we had Lance Archer, we had Max Caster, and the bonus mystery last wrestler was All Ego Ethan Page. Now, most may remember he was recently in Impact Wrestling, and I think the last pay-per-view he was on, I think, was Hard to Kill, and pretty much, fought, Karate Man, got his heart ripped out, and that was pretty much how they killed him off, because he was pretty much leaving Impact Wrestling. But yeah, ends up debuting on AEW. So I'm guessing maybe it's safe to say that Ethan Page is all elite now. So, definitely not a name I was expecting, but hey, I can dig it. So these were your 6 wrestlers for this ladder match. It was definitely very crazy. There were all sorts of spots to the point where Penta El Cierro Mero, I really felt like on paper could have easily won this match, because he had so many openings but took too much time taunting and celebrating and being entertaining as he usually does. But realistically, he could have easily won this match, as many opportunities as he had. But we all know that it's scripted. You know the deal. Then there was a point where Cody took a pretty dang on devastating destroyer on the ladder, and pretty much it looked like his shoulder, like the way the shoulder landed on that ladder, was just yikes. So they had a segment where they were going to take him to the back, because he had injured his shoulder and all that, and he wanted to go back out there. Arn Anderson, the doctors wouldn't allow it. Although eventually you just said, bump it, I'm going back out there. And he eventually went back out later, one arm and all, and finished the match. When it came down to it, Scorpio Sky, which that was a really good last final segment between him and Cody Rhodes on the ladder, where Scorpio Sky said some words and just shoved him off, and eventually grabbed the brass ring. And to be honest, I thought Scorpio Sky was the right guy to pick up this victory. Although I will say this, while Ethan Page had his spots, especially including hitting Lance Archer with a razor's edge, keep an eye on Max Caster. I think Max Caster really did well in this match. I think he really did well. Especially with the spots that he did and hitting a claim to fame from off the ladder. Like, Max Caster really impressed me in this match. I mean, everybody else did good, but Max Caster really impressed me in this match. And I really like his promos and how they've been booking him and the Acclaimed in general. But I really like how they're showing more spotlight on him, you know, with him spitting bars and him wrestling now. But this was a very entertaining ladder match. There was a lot going on, and even there was a segment where Jake the Snake Roberts even got involved and got him some. But ultimately, I'm happy that Scorpio Sky got the victory, and sure enough, this Wednesday, he's going to get a title shot for the TNT Championship against Darby Allin. So that's been booked. So should be good. Should be really good. Next, there was a segment where they finally revealed who the new AEW signee was. And it turned out to be Christian. Well, now Christian Cage, like he was back in Impact Wrestling, TNA. Christian has now signed with All Elite Wrestling. He is All Elite. He has left the WWE. Most of us know that, you know, the last match that he did was the Royal Rumble. He was in the Royal Rumble. But yeah, Christian in AEW. I tell you, like, I mean, I know there was a lot of speculation. I mean, we heard Christian, we heard Kurt Angle. I mean, there were even folks mentioning some New Japan stars like Kenta or maybe even Okada. So there was some speculation, but ultimately it turned out to be Christian. And you know, there were articles and there was stuff that were talking about how I guess he was trying to finalize a deal with WWE, but it didn't. It fell through. Apparently, it fell through. So, sure enough, signs a contract with All Elite Wrestling, and here we are. So Christian Cage came out, posed for his peeps, signed the contract, and walked out. I was hoping he would get on the mic. He didn't get on the mic. But yeah, Christian Cage is your newest addition to the AEW roster. Good stuff. Very good stuff. Next up, we have the street fight. Darby Allin and Sting going up against Team Taz of Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. Now, of course, this was a cinematic street fight. And it was actually done really well. It was in an undisclosed location, which it kind of looked like a broken down factory or warehouse of some sort. But very well done cinematic. And of course, they did have a ring and everything. And it was crazy. It was very entertaining match. I mean, we saw the environment used quite a bit. Of course, the others of Team Taz, you know, Will Hobbs, Taz's son Hook got involved, but ultimately, soon as Sting got a hold of that bat, it was pretty much game over. And Darby Allin did some sick spots too. Bounced off the brick wall and hit like a back elbow. He did a coffin drop from like stories up onto Brian Cage. But yeah, like a lot of sick spots. I mean, Brian Cage threw Darby Allin through two double doors, and it was just crazy. Sting pulled out a drawer to hit I think it was Brian Cage in the kneecap or something like that. But yeah, just crazy spots. There were even some close calls where it looked like one was about to throw the other out the window. That happened at least what 2 or 3 times in this whole match. I was just like, jeez. But I mean, hey, it was a good quality cinematic street fight, and Sting, old man Sting, can still take some bumps, take some shots. Give you a little entertaining street fight. But ultimately, he was able to finish off Ricky Starks in the ring with a Scorpion Death Drop. Got the pin, and yeah, it was all good. Taz wasn't too happy. He ended up leaving the commentary table, but yeah, and there was a lot of good build up to this match, so it'll be interesting to see what happens next. If things kind of take a new turn. What happens with Sting. Guess we'll have to wait and see. But it was a decent street fight. It was a pretty decent street fight. But I assume that with them cutting to that, gave the off camera time necessary for them to set up the ring for the exploding barbed wire death match, which was the main event. But yeah, the exploding barbed wire death match for the AEW World Championship, where the champion Kenny Omega defended against Jon Moxley. Now, this was definitely a good conclusion match between these two. And, it was definitely back and forth. It was brutal. A lot of the barbed wire used in many different ways. Saw the exploding landmines. And of course, I thought it was really neat. Moxley kicking out of a one-winged angel with the sacrificial way of putting his leg on the rope of the exploding barbed wire in order to blind Kenny Omega once again. And there were a lot of good spots with that. I was kind of bummed, but at the same time, I'm not surprised that this happened. Of course, the Good Brothers came down, and it really much came down to a 3-on-1 assault on Moxley in order for Moxley to be put away. And it took a one-winged angel on a chair for Kenny Omega to get the win. Moxley also got hit by an exploding barbed wire bat, which kicked out of that, which was crazy. But yeah, Good Brothers came in, helped them get this victory. Can't say I'm too surprised. I'm kind of disappointed it came down to that, but it was still a good match, good long match. The way the whole segment ended was kind of on a sour note. So the bombs and everything, the landmines and everything were still armed because in the match, once 30 minutes had passed, pretty much it would set off a chain reaction of mines and explosions and such. They handcuffed Moxley in the middle of the ring after, incapacitating him. And then with like less than a minute left, Eddie Kingston comes down, tried to revive Jon Moxley to get him out of there. It's too late. He laid over him as the sacrifice. And then all we get is pretty much some fireworks and some pyro and explosions on the outside of the ring. Now, I understand that, it's not going to be a legit explosion like an atom bomb sort of thing. But they could have at least made it look believable. Like, that pyro and everything looked no different from a typical wrestler's entrance, like Kenny Omega or Cody Rhodes or anybody else's entrance with pyro. That's really all that it was. That's all that it was. Well, nothing special. So that was kind of weak. That last moment was really, really weak. But my guess is ultimately this is the way that they write off Jon Moxley so that he can prepare. I guess so that he can prepare for the birth of his child, because him and Renee Young have a child on the way. I believe it's on the way. Yeah. So I'm guessing that this is their way of writing off Jon Moxley. So I don't expect to see him again anytime soon, which is understandable. So hope he gets a decent amount of time off so he can prepare to be a father. And we'll see what happens in the continued reign of Kenny Omega. And like I said, Double or Nothing is Sunday, May 30th. So we got a while. We got a good while before that pay-per-view. So got a lot of time to build up some stuff. But overall, this was a solid pay-per-view. I'm really curious to see who they build up to be Sheida's next challenger. Sheida is well on her way to being AEW Women's World Champion for a year. The funny thing about that, she pretty much won around the same time that Io Shirai, or close to the same time Io Shirai won the NXT Women's Championship. So, I mean, hey, notice something there? Because eventually, because both shows were in May. Because it was Double or Nothing, and then was on NXT, it was In Your House. It was In Your House. So yeah, I see a trend there. But both ladies look like they're on their way to being champions for a year. So will it happen with one, the other, or both? Both. We'll see. But definitely looking forward to what they got coming up, storyline wise, and just setting stuff up. Should be good. When will we see Christian get in the ring? I have to see what they decide. But yeah, good, solid pay-per-view, and I know WWE's got Fastlane coming up in about a week or so. We'll see if it can, how it can compete. Doubt it, but we'll see. Anyway, that's all that I have for AEW Revolution. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Did y'all like the card? Did y'all like the matches? What did y'all think of the mystery opponent stuff? What did you think of Maki Ito as Rebel's replacement? What did you think of All Ego Ethan Page in the ladder match? What do you think of Christian being revealed as the big signee? But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thank you so much for watching. This is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram signing off. Hope everybody has a blessed week, and I will see y'all soon. Laters.